Hello and welcome to another video. I'm here at a local club lake for a 2-hour session where I'm going to be fishing the margins, trying to catch a few slightly bigger than average size carp. Not huge fish, because this lake only has fish up to about 8 pounds, but they average about 2 pounds, and down the edge they tend to be a little bit bigger, maybe 3, 4, and if we're lucky maybe even a 5 pound fish. So not huge fish, but it's a great way to catch carp on commercial fisheries. Right, the two baits I've got with me today, I've got Sonya bait's Krill Groundbait, which is a red mix that, yeah, it really does smell. The reason why I picked this groundbait is not only because it's a nice bright colour and will stand out, but also because of the smell. And what I'm aiming to do is bring these bigger carp into the shallower water down the margins, and to do this I need colour and I need smell. Right, so that's the ground bait sorted. Now the hook bait, all I've got with me is sweet corn. I've added some Sonya bait's F1 additive to it just to increase the smell. So yet again we have colour, which is the bright yellow, as well as the smell. Now, not only is corn a brilliant bait in general in commercial fisheries for carp, but over this ground bait the corn stands out very well. And I'm sure if a carp's in the swim, he's gonna find it. Now, fishing down the margins wins so many matches, but you don't need to complicate things. Margin fishing is all fishing heavy, fishing positive, and feeding positive. That's what gets you some big weights of fish. Usually I use a 9 or 11 hollow here, but as I've mentioned earlier, the fish can be pretty big down the margins, so I'm using a 13 hollow, just in case I do hook a bonus 5 or 6 pound carp. I don't want it running through the snags, and I don't want to lose the fish. Also, you may have noticed I've got a small cad pot. This is the smallest size I have in my box, and this is just for putting 2 or 3 grains of sweet corn and plugging it off with a bit of ground bait, just to keep the fish occupied in the swim. Going down, I've got an 015 main line. Usually I'd use 013, but yet again, bigger fish, heavier lines. I've got a PB Carp 4 float in a 4x10, a really short float, and again it's very strong. Positive fishing is the key to catching big carp down the edge. Then a really positive shotting pattern. 4 number 10s, nice solid bulk, because I'm looking to catch all my fish on the bottom today. You don't generally catch carp shallow down the margins, so that's why I'm fishing 2 inches over depth anyway. So I want to get the bait down to the bottom as quick as I can to increase my chances of catching fish quicker. Right, the hook length is 013 power line, fairly strong. I'm comfortable. I'm very confident using 013 hook lengths for fish up to double figures. Although it's thin diameter, Preston power line is very strong, and I'm very confident in using it. And then I have a size 16 hook, which is for single sweet corn. Right, so that's the rigs gone. Well, the one rig gone through. Like I said, you don't need to go setting up loads of top kits, because at the end of the day you're looking to catch on 1 or 2 lines with the same depth, and you're fishing on the bottom. You don't need to complicate things with shotting patterns or different style floats. One rig will usually do the job. I'm fishing 2 sections of pole today, plus a top kit, so about 6 meters out, and I've got 2 lines. I'm very lucky that I've got a swim to the left and a swim to my right, and both the lines are the same depth. They're I'd say about 16 inches deep, which is perfect for big carp. Generally, if the swim's shallower than 8 inches, I'll move out and look for a slightly deeper water. You're really looking for, say, about a foot down the margins. If you've got a foot, you're guaranteed to catch some big carp. Right, so that's the rigs, the baits, and the general talk about fishing down the margins all sorted. Now let's feed the swim and catch some fish. Right, so now it's time to feed the swim. Although it's the summer months, I'm not looking to feed too much, because if you overfeed the fish down the margins, you can foul hook a lot of fish. And with snags in the peg like I have today, you don't want to be foul hooking fish. Every bite you want to be a fish hooked in the mouth. So I'm going to put a small handful of loose ground bait. I'm feeding it loose because it's going to create a cloud which is going to draw fish in much quicker. And a few samples of corn, just a pinch, so the fish get used to my hook bait. And hopefully that'll give me a quicker bite. So let's ship out to about 6 meters, fairly tight in, just where we've got a bit of flat bottom. There we go. That cloud's going to slowly drift down to the bottom, and the fish, hopefully, it's going to catch the fish's eye. And I'll get fish in my swim much quicker than I would when, say, I feed pellets. That go straight to the bottom. So it's just more feeding loose ground bait. It's so devastating, and people don't understand that feeding little bits of ground bait loose can catch some huge weights of carp, and not small carp either. I've had carp well into double figures using this method, and it's great fun in the summer months. So I'm going to ship in and do the same on my other line. Again, small bit of ground bait, not too much. Pinch of corn, shake it around a bit. And now we're ready to catch some fish. Generally, when fishing the margins, I won't go straight on down the edge. During matches, the margin line is best in the last hour. But today we're only fishing for 2 hours. I've only set this line up. I don't want to set too much tackle up. I just want to sort of have a muck around session, just practicing this method for a couple of matches I have coming up. So I'm not expecting to catch fish straight away. It may take an hour, hour and a half, but if it does take an hour and a half, I know for a fact that last half hour is going to be devastating, and we could catch 10 carp in half an hour. It's easy on this line. It really can be a match winner. So I'm going to start off with a single grain of sweet corn. I've literally just fed the swim, so I don't need to fill my cab pot up just yet. But when I catch a fish, or next time I ship in, I will be filling it up with a couple of grains of corn and plugging it off with some ground bait. Hopefully anytime soon that float will just fire under. Oh, yeah, there we go. Oh, and that feels like a half decent carp. Luckily it swam out instead of in. It's not really fighting. It's plodding about at the moment. I'm not sure how big it is. That's really exciting, catching carp down the margins. I love it. It's so exciting. Out of nowhere, the float will just fire under, just as you start to doubt your skills. I don't even think it's a huge fish. It's very important to try and get the fish out of the swim you're fishing with as little disturbance as possible to increase your chance of going down there again and instantly catching another. There we go. Not a huge fish. Not had any lumps today, but it's a good 2 pounds. Slightly bigger than average. And the corn's still on my hook. Right, well, it's the end of the session now. It's been a brilliant session. We've had loads of carp down the margins. We've caught on both lines, and it just goes to show how devastating fishing down the margins using this groundbait and sweetcorn approach can be in the warmer months. Thanks for watching, and hopefully see you soon. Tight lines for now.